Production funding for Sports Files is made possible in part by
Infiniti of Memphis has moved to Germantown Road, just half-mile north of Wolf Chase Galleria, and is proud to support WKNO for its quality broadcasting and service to our community. Quality and service? No wonder Infiniti of Memphis feels at home on WKNO.
the WKNO Production Fund, the WKNO Endowment Fund, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
My guest today on Sports Files is the new head football coach of the University of Memphis, Mike Norvell. Happy 2016, everyone. A little over a month ago, Mike Norvell was introduced as the new head football coach of the Memphis Tigers. The former Arizona State offensive coordinator and deputy head coach, who replaced Justin Fuente after his highly successful four-year run, said this is the perfect time and this is the perfect place. It has been a whirlwind first month for the 34-year-old first-time head coach. He completed the hiring of his first coaching staff in the last week, signed 4 junior college players, met with all the returning Tigers, and hit the road for recruiting. He also attended the Tigers bowl game in Birmingham, but likely didn't walk away from that too pleased. Norvell is highly regarded for his high-octane attack, which ranked 23rd in the country in total offense and 40th in points scored this season at Arizona State. The hope is that the Tigers won't miss a beat after the departure of Fuente, whose teams won 19 games over the last 2 seasons. Today, the new Tigers head coach up close and personal. It's Mike Norvell next on Sports Files. Mike, it's great to have you on the show. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
And formally, let me welcome you to Memphis. I know it's been absolutely nuts for you since you were announced as the new head coach. Only a month here, and there's a lot you've had to do.
It's been a lot of fun, since day one of joining the program. We've had an opportunity to get out and meet a lot of tremendous people, and that's probably anytime you have transition, there's usually a little bit of anxiety, but the welcoming, the community, the people that I've had the opportunity to meet so far have just been so wonderful to me, to my family, and I'm truly just so excited to be here.
All right, let me go back to the courtship. Who contacted you from the University of Memphis? A little bit about your meeting, and what was your thoughts when Memphis stepped up to the table to offer you this job?
Well, I got an early preliminary call, after the job became open, kind of gauging what interest would be through the search committee that was kind of leading it, and then had the opportunity to be able to sit down with Dr. Rudd, Tom Bowen, Mark Allnut, Brad Martin was there through kind of an interview, get to know each other. Time there in New Orleans, and it was right in the middle of a recruiting trip, so it was pretty unique. But we were able to sit down, kind of get to know each other, and really hit it off from the very beginning. And it was something that I got to share a little bit about who I was and what I believe in, and being able to sit down with the leadership of our program and our university. It was something that I felt was just an absolute perfect fit for me and what I wanted to be a part of, and was excited to be able to get the opportunity.
Why do you think the timing was right?
It was something that, with where this program has gone, and where, I've been around, this area. I played college ball just a couple hours down the road. I've competed against this program at, my time when I was at the University of Tulsa. So I've been here and I've kind of seen the track, and, the last couple of years, what the previous staff was able to do is kind of developed a culture of winning. And I believe that right now we're not where we want to be. I believe that this program is primed and ready to take the next step, and I believe that's why I'm here. And I'm excited. I'm excited about the opportunity. I'm excited about the pieces that are in place. I'm excited about the commitment that has been put in place by our administration, and then the vision that we all have.
Mike, as you know, you recently completed your staff. Familiar names to you, familiar faces, not all of them, but many of them you worked with at Arizona State. How daunting of a task was it, or was it pretty easy to get these guys to come with you to Memphis?
Well, when I got the opportunity to be the head coach, there's been a group of names that I've had kind of with me and saying these are guys I'd like to work with. But for me, it's all about fit and family.
Right.
When I was looking at a staff, the number one thing I want on this staff was guys that truly value relationships. And if you're going to have a football program that's about family, you got to have tremendous relationships on your staff. And so, I've worked with the majority of the guys that we have on staff here, but we need the guys that fit the University of Memphis, fit the players that we have, and the direction in which we're going. And so it was great. We were able to get to pull some tremendous coaches, some guys that are coming from different places all over the country, but all guys that are wonderful teachers, wonderful men, men that I would want to coach my child. And that was something that was key for me. And so to be able to have them here, I couldn't be more excited.
As the OC at Arizona State, your team this past year, Arizona State, 23rd in total offense, 40th in scoring. We know you're very innovative. You like to get points on the board. You like to throw around the ball. For those who don't know your philosophy, talk a little bit about your offense, and then also what are you going to try to do with your defense? Well,
our philosophy is pretty unique, and it's one that on both sides of the ball, we want to play fast. We want to play smart. We want to play physical. And then we want to be passionate about finish everything that we do. And that's kind of our mindset. We're going to be very multiple. We're going to attack. On offense, we're going to be balanced, running the football, throwing the football. We want to stretch the field vertically, but we want to do it at great tempo. And you're going to see a lot of different presentations. It's an offense that's built for playmakers. And so as we continue to bring young men into this program, as continuing to evaluate the guys that we have here, this offense is going to adapt to them. And it's something I'm really excited about. Defensively, we're going to be very multiple. We're going to change up kind of our base. Alignments. So we're going to institute a little bit more 4 down than what has been played here in the past. But we're still going to be multiple. We're going to have a couple hybrid positions of using a little bit more nickel safety there as the adjusters. That fourth pass rusher can be an end, but also stand up linebacker from time to time. But we're going to attack. We're going to be aggressive on the defensive side of the ball, and their number one key and focus is to see how quick we can get the ball back for the offense and to disrupt some of the offenses that we have in this league that we know it's going to take to be successful. So, and it's going to the same thing's going to carry over into special teams. I think that's an area that when people talk offense, defense, when they're talking about your football team,
don't forget
I think special teams is a huge factor. Being able to get Coach Lorig here, a guy that I've known, a guy that's been a coordinator for the majority of his coaching career. We have a football team that understands that part of the game is very, very important. And so we're gonna push and be aggressive and attack on special teams just as much as any other area in our program.
Will you be calling the plays?
That's something that we're going to continue to work through. Coach Long, our offensive coordinator, I've been with for the last 4 years. He's one of the brightest minds that I know in football, and we've been working together, for a good while. We think like each other, and so it's really we're going to have a balance. I'm going to be involved offensively. I'm going to be involved coaching the quarterbacks. We're going to see how this all transitions through spring ball and preparing for what we're going to do there this fall.
I think it's correct if I say that Todd Graham has been one of your mentors. And of course, he's the head coach at Arizona State. You've been with him at a few different stops. What did you learn from Todd, and what do you bring into this head coaching position that you learned from him?
I thought that one of the biggest things was just, establishing a set core of values and, being able to hold firm to those values. For us, it is about relationships. I got into this profession, I'm still pretty young man, I'd like to say. I'm 34 years old. I'm not too far removed from going through the process of playing, of getting into coaching and being able to have an ascent in this profession that I've loved so much. I've been around football since I was 5 years old, and the thing that I want is, man, I want a program where it is about relationships. It's about family. It's about having a structure and standards of pushing for excellence in every single area, whether it's on the field, whether it's in the classroom, or out there in the community. I want people, when they're looking at the University of Memphis football program, they see a program that breeds excellence in all those areas.
You mentioned you're not far removed from when you played at Central Arkansas. I want you to do us a favor, Coach. I want you to look at the monitor. I want you to evaluate this guy who's a wide receiver, and let's take a look at him. I believe this is Central Arkansas, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, we had to go in the archives for this one.
Deep pass. Who is that guy right there? Number 2.
Yeah, that was one of my last games. That was my senior year. As a playoff game that we had a nice victory on the road against one of the top teams in the country, and it was not a bad-looking receiver right there.
Not at all. You hold a bunch of records at Central Arkansas. All right, so things you learned as a player that you want to bring to the table for your players to live by.
A love for the game. I mean, I want our guys to truly be passionate about the job that we get to do, and we're blessed. I mean,
right.
to be able to. There's so many kids out there. There's so many young men that would do anything for the opportunity that these guys have, and so don't take it for granted. Make the most of every single day. Make the most of every opportunity that we have in front of us, and if we do things the right way, we continue to grow, we continue to get better. Then great things will happen for us.
You're very familiar with Memphis, having gone to school at Central Arkansas, not far down the road. I know that you would come back to the Music Fest, as you mentioned during your introductory press conference. What's the Bluff City like for you?
Ever since when I was in college and I come over, I'm big on culture. I think culture is important. I think community is important. I remember the first time I'd go down to Beale Street, or I'd go just walk through downtown, and the people here are so warm. The people here are so welcoming. That was what attracted me to this program. It's because this is a program that, we represent something bigger than ourselves. Being able to have this name across my shirt, it's something that there's great responsibility with that. We want to represent not only the University of Memphis, but the city of Memphis, the state of Tennessee. We want to represent it in a way that it deserves to be represented. And it's for guys that make the most of every opportunity, that play hard, they play smart, they go out there and they finish everything that they do. This is a tremendous place with tremendous people. And we understand what we represent.
National Signing Day is right around the corner. You've done a good job going out and getting some junior college players, including a quarterback in Riley Ferguson, who will battle for your starting job. What's it been like, you going out there and staff members that have been with you since you started, and not too many of them, others have just joined, but what's been the talk when you go into a young man's living room and talk with the parents as you now take over this football program?
Well, we talk about the vision, and we talk about where we want to go. We talk about taking that next step as a program. But the excitement, the enthusiasm from all the recruits, from every house that I've been in, it's there. It's people want to be a part of this. I got hired, and I think we had about 6 or 7 days until signing day, and we went out, and there was a lot of phone calls, a lot of long days, long nights. But being able to sit in those rooms and talk about this vision, talk about this university, talk about the places, not only where we've been in the recent past, but the places that we're going here in the future. And that's what really is grasping the attention, not only of kids here in the city of Memphis, but all over this country. We were able to pull a junior college offensive lineman, one of the top ones in the country, out of California.
Right.
We were able to go into St. Louis and get another offensive lineman, to be able to go down into South Alabama and get a safety that we feel is going to be able to come in and impact. And then we talked about the quarterback. This is a national brand. This is a place that there's a tremendous amount of excitement, but of where we are going. And you step foot on campus here, and there is one vision. There's one vision from the top, from the president, one vision from the athletic director, from the football coach, from every person involved.
You're all on
in
the
this.
same page.
Everybody is on the same page, and that's what has the recruits excited. That's what has our staff excited, and we're bringing the right pieces in place.
It must not be easy for a player to lose their head coach. They came to a university, there's the head coach, he's now gone. Your conversations that you've had with the returning players, I assume that things have gone pretty well.
It's been unbelievable, and probably the best thing since I've taken this job has been those conversations. Before I had my introductory press conference, I was able to sit down with our guys, and I asked the only people that were in that room were current players and myself, and I talked to those guys about the family, about what this program is going to look like, what this program is going to stand for. And most new coaches come in and they want to ask people to trust them. I'm not asking for anybody to trust me. I'm asking everybody to give me an opportunity to show that I'm trustworthy. And I believe that if we can go through that, if I can show these young men, if I can show this community, if I can show people by my work ethic, by my passion, by the details of how I approach every day, and by the relationships that we have, well, now we have an opportunity to do something special.
Did you try to talk Paxton Lynch into coming back for another year?
I got a chance to sit down and visit with Paxton. He's what a great representative of the University of Memphis football program. He's a guy that he's going to have a tremendous pro career. He's going to there are very bright days here in his future. But we sat down and he felt it was in his best interest to take that next step for him and his career. So he had 100% support from us.
Mike, not to dwell on the negative, but you went down to the Birmingham Bowl, and Memphis, quite frankly, laid an egg. They've had a tremendous season. Bowl games are hard to gauge because you never know. What did you see out of that?
It was great being a part of the process. I was really, really proud of how our guys prepared. Through transition, it's difficult,
Right.
and I don't care what transition it is, but Coach Dickey did a great job of being able to get those guys, because I was able to go out and watch them practice. I was able to watch them prepare. There were a lot of positive things from that game, and there were some negative plays that things that really did cost us. But, I watched our guys. I watched the way they competed. We had a couple of guys that were out due to injury that really kind of affected us throughout that game. But and we were playing a quality opponent that you could tell was extremely motivated. And so, did we play our best game? I don't believe that. I don't think that was the picture of what this program's all about. But our guys went out and they did compete. And we're going to continue to build. We're going to continue to move where we want to go. And I think we've got a great group of guys to do it with.
The momentum has swung in such a positive manner for Memphis football, and the good things that have happened the last few years, people are excited about, but they don't want it to end. They want it to continue. And now it's on your shoulders. How confident are you that this will continue and maybe even get better?
That's why I'm here. And to be able to come into this program, it is the perfect place at the perfect time. And you sit there and you look about how everything fits. It's just this. I'm the most comfortable I've ever. Anytime we talk about that transition, there should be anxiety. And I'm doing certain things that I haven't necessarily done as much, but I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable with the guys that we have. I'm excited about the future. I think that this program is just at the beginning of where we're going to go, and we have the right people. The staff that we've been able to bring in, I tell you, there's not a group of men I'm more excited about coaching with than I am the 9 guys that I was just able to bring here to Memphis, and then the players we get to coach each and every day. It's a special time.
I'm 54 years old and I'm fired up. I want to play for you. Mike, you're off the hot seat, but we like to wrap everything up. We call it 5 for the road. So simple questions, first thing that comes to mind. I'm not sure if Deputy AD Mark Allnut gave you a little hint on what I do at the end of the show, since he was a previous guest. He's over here with us today. But these questions are easy. So first thing comes to mind. Favorite professional sports team?
Dallas Cowboys.
Okay. Favorite pro athlete of all time?
Michael Jordan.
It's interesting, not a football player. If it's a football player, who would it be?
Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice, okay. Favorite music or group, musician? You said you always would go to Music Fest. What type of music do you like to listen to?
Tom Petty.
Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers,
Yes,
huh?
indeed.
Do you like to, a lot of the players certainly put the earphones in. They listen to a little music before the game. When do you get a chance to listen to music?
Usually when I work out.
When you're working out? Mm-hmm. Okay. Favorite movie of all time?
Oh, that's a good one. I'd say Forrest Gump was pretty good.
Forrest Gump. Now, how about if it was a sports movie? And I know there were some sports things that happened in that movie, but it's not considered a sports movie.
Favorite sports movie of all time? Oh, no, I'm blanking on them.
So many good football movies.
Yeah, I would say that probably. I know it's not a real classic, but I always loved Any Given Sunday with Al Pacino.
Any Given Sunday, yeah. Why not? Favorite TV show? All time.
Oh, I'd like to say I watch a lot of TV shows, but my wife likes to watch Everybody Loves Raymond, so I guess I sit and watch that.
So the reruns now, or
the reruns? Oh yeah, I don't watch a whole lot of TV.
You don't have much time, do you?
Exactly.
Well, I know it's been a whirlwind for you this first month. I know it's going to continue to be as you situate yourself into this position now as the new Memphis Tigers head coach. I know everybody's excited. We loved what you did in the press conference to really kick things off, and we wish you nothing but the best. Great to have you in Memphis, Mike.
Definitely glad to be here. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much. Thanks for being with us. That's Mike Norvell, the new Memphis Tigers head football coach. We'll take a break. Overtime is next. There's no question Mike Norvell is confident in his ability to lead this team in the right direction and to continue their recent winning ways. But as mentioned, he'll be breaking in a new quarterback. And whether it's redshirt freshman Brady Davis, junior college transfer Riley Ferguson, or somebody else, they'll be trying to fill some big shoes after the tremendous 3-year career of Paxton Lynch. Lynch, who threw for nearly 3,800 yards, 28 touchdowns, and just 4 interceptions this season, declared for this year's NFL Draft just a day after a rare poor performance in the Birmingham Bowl. Former Tigers head coach Justin Fuente, who helped mentor Lynch at Memphis, was there when Lynch announced his future intentions.
First, let me just say thank you for everybody that came out here this morning. I know it was kind of short notice, but I just appreciate everyone that came out this morning. First, I'd just like to thank God for giving me this opportunity to come play college football and bless me with this athletic ability that he has given me, because without him, honestly, I wouldn't even be here, have this opportunity. Another big part of my success is to my family, my mom, my dad, and my brother. They've had my back through this whole process, even when it wasn't so easy, but they've always been there to support me in every decision I've made. Also, I'd like to thank Coach Fuente and Coach Cornelison and all the other coaching staff, because as well, they've had my back and been nothing but helpful through this whole process, especially Coach Fuente. Even though he hasn't been here, he's still been checking in on me, making sure I was doing all right. Also, I'd like to thank the alum, the boosters, the students, the fans, all of Tiger Nation, for the love and support that they have showed me through these years, as well as the equipment guys. J. Mike with the quarterbacks has did a great job too. And with that being said, I'd like to forego my senior year here and declare for the 2016 NFL Draft, because after thoughtful consideration with my family and long talks with them and seeking advice from Coach Fuente as well, this is just the best decision for me and my family right now. And I've decided to be represented by Lee Steinberg and Chris Cabot, who are here right now. I've decided to go with Lee because his background, having 8 first-round draft picks, as well as his ability to produce a positive influence on the community and give me the chance to be a good role model that I want to be, and do whatever I can to help support this program even though I'm gone, because I'll always be a Tiger for life. And that's all I have to say. So go Tigers, and I think Coach Fuente is going to get up and say a few words.
Thanks, Pax. Congratulations, Lynch family. Awfully proud of you all. I've enjoyed having an opportunity to spend the last several years watching Paxton grow and develop on and off the field. My role in this was minimal. I view this as an opportunity for me to help inform Paxton so that Paxton and his family can make decisions that are based on them. So I'm here to support him and his family in their endeavors in the future. I think it was put best. I was talking to an assistant coach in the middle of the season on our staff, and I said, man, Paxton's really playing well. It was just him and I in the office, the assistant coach and I in the office, and I said, man, I don't know if we're going to have him next year. He's playing so well. And the assistant coach looked at me and said, you just need to enjoy him while you've got him. And that kind of put it into framework or context for me, is enjoy him while we've got him. Be appreciative that we had him and all the things he did for this program. I think when we look back years from now on the influence Paxton's had on this program and getting it up off the ground and setting it in a fantastic direction, I think he's the person that everybody will remember and should remember. So I think this is a wonderful day of celebration and appreciation for Paxton and his family, and we wish him all the best. And like I've told Paxton, I'll always be here for you if you ever need anything from me. Our relationship will continue to evolve and change as you grow up and enter the NFL. And I'll always be here for whatever you need. So want to wish you all the best of luck, and thank you, Paxton.
We've had the pleasure of having Paxton on as a guest on 2 different occasions here on Sports Files and could not be happier for him. He was terrific to watch and to cover. Hey, the Grizzlies tipped off a 6-game homestand last night as they hosted the Denver Nuggets and a pair of former Sports Files guests, Mike Miller and Will Barton. The homestand continues tomorrow with a 5 p.m. get-together against the Boston Celtics. And that'll do it for now. Have yourselves a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Production funding for Sports Files is made possible in part by
Infinity of Memphis has moved to Germantown Road, just half-mile north of Wolf Chase Galleria, and is proud to support WKNO for its quality broadcasting and service to our community. Quality and service? No wonder Infinity of Memphis feels at home on WKNO.